but I've discussed the novels a couple times, and I want to go over it. And here's one of the latest. And I usually put the year up on top. That's how I roll. This came out in 2016, not too long ago. And I've looked on it. I'm writing 2016 up top because that's what I do with all my books. And part 2 and 3 don't exist. I even emailed Gaska here and never got a response. I imagine something's happening. Obviously this was done with love of almost kind of self-publishing. Whatever Blam Ventures is. I think they geeked out on I feel like Blam might have done Space 1999 novel too. I could be wrong. This was a fun little read. It reminded me of a lot of the beats in the first series of Buck Rogers. It's a lot of fun. Maybe a bit forgettable because it's incomplete. I'm waiting for 2 and 3. I usually mark all over my books. This has not a lot. Maybe a little annotation here I'll have to look through about the Computer Council. So I get that this author really loves this stuff, and it's a shame that I don't think 2 and 3 are ever going to see the light of day. That's too bad. Maybe I'll try to reach out to him one more time. But this is, they still exist. And it could be that he was having issues, as oftentimes with whomever owns Buck Rogers now in whatever state we're in with that. Family trust, and that might have changed, which maybe is the reason why we don't have a 2 or 3. Maybe it just came down to this. If Legend Films or Legendary or whatever, if they truly are owning Buck Rogers now, then okay, that makes sense. All right, but what I really wanted to do is I wanted to give you a run through of some 70s, 80s era Buck Rogers novels. And an early one is in the style of the series, and I've read all of these, but I can't. They're really forgettable. Most, media tie-in sci-fi novels are pretty much ephemera. They're gonna be forgettable, and I'll give you. It's been 10 years since I've read these, and I read a lot. And at that time, I was not in the habit of writing about what I read, so I can recall it a little bit better. But there we go. This is an odd one because this has a copyright date of 1978. Addison and Steele is not anyone's real name. This comes from like Revolutionary War times. Journalists at the time, Addison and Steele. I'll put a wiki link, so that's a play on that. But it's got the Larson and Stevens stuff, so it's kind of based on it. But maybe maybe that movie did come out in 78. I just got my years all mixed up. So we still have our Coming Out of Dell, 78. All right. It's got the 87 prologue. So, I mean, it's coming out. Yep. So this may very well be just a novel. Oh, yeah, it is on the teleplay. So this is a novelization of Awakening. Oh, I should read this again. All right, so it's all here again. Just like all the cards I'm going through. There's your Buck Rogers novelization right there. That now it's all making sense. So that came out from Dell. Did I say Dell? Yeah, Dell was doing that. And at the same time, since it's 1978, we're getting to know Buck Rogers again. They reprint Armageddon 2049. And Ace Books came out with this. And here we go. So these are originally, this comes out of the magazine stories like, Amazing Science Fiction and whatnot. 1928 is what we're looking at. Right, so it bears the scars of the social mores of the time, to say the least. And so in rewriting or editing this 70s version, they tried to tone that down a bit. Never mind. Especially revised and updated for the modern reader. That means a lot of the anti-Asian sentiment within this novel is not there. So it is the original novel. And again, I'm looking to see if I annotated anything, and it's pretty forgettable. So I might give it another go sometime. That Man on Beta It's a novel based on a story and a teleplay, but I don't know which one because I don't remember an episode called A Man on Beta. Does it say what's going on here? Desolate Remains. I don't know. If it was a teleplay, it was one that might not have ever seen the light of day. I read it. Again, we have Addison Steele, whomever that might be. And I have nothing marked. So that might be worth another fun read if I have time. So that's 79. And then the series goes away pretty quickly. And next we see Ace come back at it because they still have some rights. We have some rights issues going on, maybe. And they take it from there only, although we have some recognizable Buck outfits from the Gil Gerard series. This takes us in a different direction. This is calling itself the authorized sequel to the Armageddon 2419 book. All right, but the cover certainly very 70s. So Larry Nevin had an idea and an outline, and then someone else wrote the book. Doesn't he? Okay, so John Eric Holmes. That can't be someone's real name either. So you can see with all these aliases how much the authors are putting into how seriously they were taking this. That doesn't mean it's not a fun read. I don't remember much about this. Maybe with the exception of this cover, unfortunately. But it had that kind of that early 80s. It came with the cheesecake. It's kind of in here. And then it keeps going. We have Warrior's World. The saga continues based on the characters, and then we go to Warrior's Blood. Also based on the characters, and I read all of these, but I this is my old reading habits. I would read so quickly I forget everything. I kind of changed those. I try to read like 8 to 12 books at a time each day, and so I can get back to them. That's a habit I got from reading comics. And then we have Rogers Rangers, and they all have different authors. This Rogers Rangers ends in 1983, and I think that's it. And then the TSR books come out like 5 years later. That's a whole other show. But this is all we got from Buck after the end of the series. It went back to, I think the folks at Ace said, hey, we have this original property. Let's just go back and take the story from here and see where we go. So at least you have a self-contained, if you want to look at these as 5 different, books in the series, we could do that. I remember nothing. You don't need to look at my hand all the time. But it has been since 2011, 2012, when I originally picked these up and read them. So maybe it's worth another go sometimes. But I just wanted to geek out and show you. These should be pretty affordable to get if you want to explore the old world of the Buck Rogers. I can't imagine any of these wouldn't be under $6 to buy. Shipping may be a different concern. But that's how I got them 10 years ago. I'm sure you can get them the same way. So there we go. I just wanted to give a little geek out on the Buck Rogers and just appreciate the covers, I guess. There we go. All right. Be ya. That's all, folks.